People who separated, divorced within 1 year of getting married. When did you know it was a mistake? She nearly killed me because she thought I was cheating from some texts that went to my mother. Weird. I had an unstable ex who almost killed us by driving erratically on a freeway in Chicago. Because he saw me texting, "Love you," to someone. It was my brother. Dude, maybe don't send dick pics to your mom. Super late to the party here. But I knew it was over when she started a fight at my brother's funeral because female attendees were giving me hugs as part of condolences. I knew a week after I got married when he slammed my head into the wall because he saw me looking at a man at an ice cream shop. I'm from the US and got married in England. This dude changed completely right after we got married. A couple of weeks later, I had to get out of there and come back to the US. This happened to me as well. I woke up the morning after our wedding and we were driving. He took my head and slammed it into the truck window. It was insanity to be with someone for years and instantly shit changes. It wasn't even like I was with the same person. When he said my son's suicide attempt interfered with his ex's birthday party. Excuse me, what the fuck? Her running off with a guy she met in rehab was a pretty solid clue that it wasn't meant to be. Me too. Luckily we were not married but 5-year relationship. I had been fooling around with this girl for a while. I never wanted anything serious. And I knew that from the start. Then my mom was killed. I went into a deep depression and this girl was there for me. Her mom had died of cancer about a year earlier and I guess we really bonded over that. It pushed us much further emotionally than we ever should have gone. We ended up doing a courthouse marriage. I knew within the month that I had fucked up, but I didn't want to just give up and get divorced. Once the emotions of my mom's death passed, I realized how toxic she really was. She was an incredibly unstable person and ended up just taking me into an even deeper depression. We divorced about a year ago, after being married for about 10 months, and I was immediately much happier. Marriage shouldn't be taken lightly, but people also shouldn't force themselves to be in unhealthy relationships. We all make mistakes. Don't waste your life with someone that doesn't deserve you. She went out for girls' night and met a new friend named Nicole at a bar. Started texting her a lot, then going to hang out now and then. We had a baby at home and she kept trying to go hang out with this girl from another town over with no last name whom I was not allowed to meet. His real name was Wesley. And here I thought she was just going to turn out to be a lesbian. This was Carol's favorite beer. She always drank it out of the can. I should have known. Grab a spoon. When she fucked her ex within the first 6 months. A cousin of mine divorced her husband after 6 months. She knew when we had to pick her up from her home after having been recently beaten. That day, we packed up all of her stuff and never let her go back. I'm happy that you guys could be there for her and help her get out. Hope she is doing well now. She's doing so much better. Discovered that she loves traveling and a good adrenaline rush. Has done everything from jumping off buildings to skydiving and learning how to box. I commend every single one of you who got out within the year. I knew my husband was shit during that time too, but my dumbass put up with him for over 10 years. Because I wanted to try and make it work. Good job, guys. My Mill got married the first time when she was really young. Left him a month later. Turns out he was a raging alcoholic. She had no idea because her family was super overprotective and they were never really allowed to spend time together alone before they got married. Who knew spending time with someone could be the key to knowing if they're a good partner? She decided she was in love with her stepbrother a month after we got married. I'm pretty sure I watched a preview of a scene with the same plotline last night. Yeah, the movie Clueless? Question mark. Ugh, as if. Not a year, but about 18 months. She was constantly complaining she didn't have friends after moving in with me. Joined a local soccer team, and she talked about one teammate non-stop for months. I had a bad feeling about it from the get-go, but she assured me they were just friends, and how dare I not trust her? Thought I was going crazy because my gut told me something wasn't right, but I was punishing myself for being a bad husband and not trusting my wife. Turned out it was all true. She had been fucking the teammate for months. Most likely fucked someone else during our engagement. Split amicably officially as of last week without any mess. Thank God. Got married in late May. By August or September I found out from my dad that my husband, now ex, and my brother's wife were sexting. She was also my bridesmaid at our wedding. She felt guilty and told my dad, who had to tell me. I forgave them like a dingus, and about a year and a half later I found pictures of them sucking two different dicks in our house and also wearing quite a bit of my nice makeup. All of this after we moved to Washington from Florida. It's been wild. We're obviously divorced now. Edited for clarity since I guess that needed to be said. I had to reread this like 5 times before I realized it was your husband and not your dad that was sexting your brother's wife. I was close to drawing a diagram until I figured it out. He used your makeup? Question mark. The dirty bastard. My brother died a week after the wedding, and after about 2 months, he told me that was just too big of a thing to happen in the beginning of a marriage. I tried for 6 more months and then just gave up. I'm sorry about your brother. I'm sorry your husband wasn't supportive. That's kind of a dick move to say. Your grief is too much of a drag for me, but it sounds like you weren't a great match in the first place. My love to Op. Grief is awful and hard, and it is when our friends and family show their true selves. I hope you are doing better now. The next morning I woke up and thought, when would be a socially acceptable time to get divorced? Quote, in hindsight that says miles about why I felt I had to get married. 10 years seems pretty reasonable. I could probably last 10 years, couples counseling within 6 months. Separated within the year, shitstorm of a divorce, and finally free 2 years after that. Would I do it all over again? I'm sure it took years of my life, but I learned so many invaluable lessons about myself along the way. Take care of yourself first, kids. Put that oxygen mask on before you help anyone else. Girl I know, 1 month and she found out he cheated the day of the wedding. Not that it matters, but before or after the ceremony? After. IDKY, but somehow that seems worse. When I found out he had $500K in debt that he hadn't told me about beforehand. Yes, we had a prenup. He just lied about it on the prenup. I don't know anything about prenups, but would that invalidate it? Prenups can be challenged in court. Often they're only as good as the lawyers you can afford when it goes tits up. Good luck getting a good lawyer with $500K in the hole though. Just that crazy look in his eyes when I didn't do the dishes to his standards. Like he was going to hurt me. I should have left then because I was right. I'm glad you're out now. Not me, but a female friend knew approximately 4 to 6 weeks into marriage. Her husband at the time basically spent a few years prior to marriage being a bit of a salesman to everyone. Once they got behind closed doors, his traditional marriage roots really came out. They both had fast-moving careers. And while he was okay with her making money and having a career, he also expected her to cook, clean, take care of the dogs, etc., and never lifted a finger. He would just come home and pound drinks until dinner time. A couple of weeks into our marriage, the sex started to physically hurt. I went to my OB and after a test or two, she informed me I had contracted chlamydia. That's when I knew. Turns out, my newlywed husband had been banging his coworker for months. Not technically within a year, but when I returned from my first deployment, 10 months, I found out she had been sleeping with 3 of my buddies. Told her to pack her shit and get the fuck out. Jody, Brody and Cody strike again. Whoa, don't bring me into this.
Subscribe for more hot Reddit takes in your inbox.